I'm out here in the bush in the front 43 acres looking for a good candidate tree to take down. And part of our sustainable forestry, we look for trees. This birch tree right here is going to be a good candidate because it's got broken parts up at the top, which is good, which tells me that part of the tree has died. But also it's very crowded. And there's another birch tree beside it. There's lots of birch trees around here. So I'm going to take, not all of them, but I'm going to take particularly this one, simply because it's very crowded. This one's out in the open, which is very good. It's got room to grow. That one back there is pretty crowded. I don't think I'm going to take it though. I may take that fir tree later. But this one here is a good candidate for firewood. It's not very straight up at the top. It's kind of crooked, and it's crowded, and it's got branches that are dying off of it. So that's a good candidate. I don't take off a whole lot of trees. I don't harvest a whole lot of trees in any one location, simply because we want to maintain the ecosystem. And you can see the brush that we've laid down from past trees that we've cut. And those actually create, if you look right here in the snow, habitat for, you can see the bunny tracks going across here. So the grouse and the rabbits and the deer come and browse on it. The rabbits and the grouse come and live in it and eat off of the branches that they could not normally get. Particularly on the fir trees, they seem to like those. Anyway, we'll get on to assessing this one and cutting it. One of the first things I do is I look up and make sure there's no hanging branches, anything that's going to fall on me or on any of the joining trees when I'm cutting it. So that's a very dangerous thing. If you start cutting down a tree and branches start falling down, a lot of lumberjacks and such get very injured or even killed doing that. But that one looks good, so I'm going to go on with cutting it. Okay. The tree's down. Sorry, I couldn't video when I was cutting the tree. And I've cut it up into about a 20-foot length or so. And this is the top part of the tree. These are some of the branches. I'll just show you. We take these and put them into piles, like so. And so that pile right there, you'll see obviously there's rabbit tracks and stuff going into it. Nature has a way of bouncing back and being very resilient. So I'll get at taking the rest of these branches off, and the top part of the trees here, and it will go on the brush pile too. As you can see, we've done this before in this area, only selective, but I've cut off the branches and we'll put them into the piles and let nature take its course. Yeah. So this birch right here, it'd be a great tree but it's a great tree for harvesting. But if you look around, there's no other birch trees around here at all in this particular part of the woods. You probably don't have to go too far. Well, there's one sort of sticking up back in there that you can just see. But there's not that many in this area, so that makes this one not a good candidate at this time, and it's gonna have to stay. I can't take that one. I wouldn't take that one. It's not sustainable to maintain the biodiversity in the area. So it'll stay there. Okay, so I'm in another part of our front 43 of our 100 acres. And I've come into the trails over there, and I've come into the bush a little bit because I'm looking for some birch trees, some good hardwood for burning for next winter. And right here, there's lots of birch trees mixed in with the evergreens. And more rabbit tracks. And these are, I might take a couple of these. These are good candidates. That one there has a little bit of rot up in the top, so that one, although it's a healthy tree, it's a good one. It's a good candidate for firewood. And there's lots of other trees around it which will sustain the natural balance. So I think I'm going to take a couple out of here. This one's probably maybe 60, 70 feet tall, maybe 60. And that one there is probably getting up about 80 or more. So I don't know which one I'm going to take yet. I might take this one right here. It's about 80 feet, and it's surrounded by other birch, so it's a good candidate as well. I might be able to get it out a little bit easier anyway, because it's one thing to cut down the tree, it's another thing to get it out, and that can be very challenging and a lot of work. So yeah, we'll try that one. Park the tractor back here just because I saw the trees, so I got a little bit of a walk to get back to it. Beautiful back here after the snow falls. We had a good dumping here last night in New Brunswick. Very scenic out here in the bush. Pretty tight to get around some of these trails with the tractor too. There's not much room, but we can make it. Okay, we're going to try for this tree. See if I can get my camera to stay. Maybe. That should give you a good view. I'm going to drop it this way. Hopefully. You don't want to take your eye off of that tree. Because as you can see, it's hung up. And that's not too uncommon. Happens quite often. But yeah, so I'll have to figure out how to get that down. Stay tuned. So a little snowy, but here we go. There's step one. Step two, I think I'm going to attach the tractor to it and try and drag it backwards. So I did manage to get it down. I pulled it around this other birch tree and aligned to the tractor over here. Managed to get the tractor in there without getting it stuck. And now it's just a matter of just delimbing it, making my brush piles, and dragging the pieces out, which shouldn't be too bad. It's sort of thick in here, but I'll manage. Okay, here we are. We've got the main trunk of the tree. I've created my brush piles. I've pulled these out and chained them up to the back of the tractor. And we're ready to drag them out of the bush. Get the tractor started. And we'll see how this goes. Looks like they're going to drag okay. Find my way out of here now. Like I said, some of these trails are pretty narrow. Not much room to get through with this tractor. So I'm down in the, I'm in the front part, the front 43. This is sort of the south end of it. And this is our maple stand. This is where we're going to be tapping for maple syrup come the spring. End of February, early March normally. and I'm going to be tapping a lot of these trees. But right now I'm down here looking for firewood, so I won't be cutting many of these down, although they're good burning for firewood. We want these ones for maple syrup, so won't be touching any of these. So here's a good candidate. There's a bunch of maples sitting right here, all in a cluster, and right beside the sugar bush. So I think I'm going to take these ones. There's all kinds of maple trees down here. A lot of poplars too, which don't burn very good. That one's a poplar. They don't burn, well, they burn good, but they burn fast. They're a softer wood, and you don't get as much heat from them. But I have some poplar. I've cut some, but I'm not a big fan of them. If worse came to worse, I could always use them. They're not used for much else. Plywood and stuff is what they're generally used for. But here's some maples, and I think I'm going to cut down that group right there. I don't see any problem in doing that at all, because there's lots of maples all around here. So here's something that's happened. I got the cluster of 4 maples down, and they all fell pretty much where they were supposed to. And I came in to pick them up with the tractor, and there's a culvert here. And as you can see, I've slid off the path and fallen into the creek a little bit right there. So I'm on a bit of a slant, and I don't want a chance going on the ice, because I could flip the tractor. So I have Mrs. Johnston coming down here with the ATV, and see if we can't, she can't give me a hand here, and we'll try and pull the tractor out first and go from there. But anyway, right now I'm pooched, so we'll wait for Mrs. Johnston to get here. So it's the next morning. We had big problems with getting the tractor stuck. The temperatures warmed up, and the snow became really slippery, and it got to the point where I couldn't even hardly move the tractor. So I've come back with the ATV and the log arch this morning, and going to drag these logs out of here and clean up the site. So yeah, the ATV will get these out, no problem with the log arch. So that's a heavy load. That's a very heavy load. I've got a couple more that I'm going to come back and pick up. It's minus 17 here this morning, and I'm all bundled up. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm all bundled up, and I've had my morning coffee, and this is the job for today. We'll take all these back and then get them all cut up, and hopefully maybe even get them split. So this is the wood that we collected yesterday, and the little bits this morning. And so now it's, you can see the wood pile in behind there. I've got it covered up yet. But I'm going to cut them all up into 16-inch lengths and split them and stack them. And they'll be added to the wood pile to heat our house next winter. They'll dry over the summer. So it's a little bit later, and I've managed to get all the wood all cut up. I'm going to bring around the splitter and start splitting. As you can see, yeah, so I'll go get the splitter and start splitting. So there we go. It's all been cleaned up, cut, split, and piled. So this pile of wood here there's almost enough there to do us for next winter. I probably need maybe one more face cord, maybe, just to sort of finish it off, and yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for watching.